Hey everybody, it's John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope, America's largest nonprofit financial inclusion network in the country. 100 locations of Hope Inside to change your life in the country. On our way to 1,000 Hope Inside locations by the year 2020, part of Project 5117 to make America great for everybody who is an American and who sees the American aspiration as part of their ethos, as part of their legacy, that this is your country. Or as Ambassador Andrew Young said, this is not my country, this is my country, and no one's going to take it from me. And so we're living in a moment in history. Hello everybody signing on. We're living in a moment in history, but history does not feel historic when you're sitting in it. It just feels like another day. But we have to understand the world is changing underneath us, and you've got to change with it or be run over by it. So I wrote a book that is going to shake up a lot of portals of power. I wrote a book that's going to upset a number of people. Hello, folks signing in from, hello, Leslie from Hawaii, and all those who are signing in, LaShawn, others. Please forgive me if I don't give you, Tracy Spencer, a lot of front-end attention individually. I promise you on the back end, I will answer your questions. I will engage with you. Hello, Janice Johnson. Let me get into this. Zena, this is a message that your coworkers will like. Let me get into this in a deep way. I just got off of a plane from New York City, just came into Atlanta. Memphis is present. Hello, Roosevelt. And I wanted to explain some questions that have come up about the book in the first 2 days as part of a media tour. And I love being able to talk to you directly and give you my personal perspective on complaints, criticisms, questions, so I can hit you straight so that you know from me what I really mean versus somebody putting words in my mouth. Because this is the most important book I've ever written. I think that it has a chance to start a real conversation, hey LaShawn, hey Frank, in this country. I don't want you to agree with me. I don't need you to agree with me. I need you to think for yourself. Repeat that, please. I don't, hey Marvin Bell, need for you to agree with me. I need for you to think for yourself. I told someone once, if I had a choice between whether you respected me or liked me, hey Brian Johnson, hey Joey, I'd rather you respect me and learn to like me rather than you like me and you never respected me. So at worst, we'll agree to disagree. So the memo I wrote, 5 laws, 5 rules for your financial and your economic liberation. One of the complaints, and it's a reviewer on Amazon, one of the first reviewers. By the way, you're reading the book. Please leave a review. That's right, Divine, for it. Think to and for yourself, 100%. I want you, critical thinking, that's right, April. Hey, Lisa Shore, amen. I want you to think for yourself. I want you to go to Amazon or iTunes or wherever you buy your books, and I want you to leave a review. Once you read this book, leave a review. There's one beautiful review that a lady left that really gets it. It's a very long review. I put it up on the page for the memo on Facebook, but go to Amazon and read it for yourself. There's another gentleman, though, who said John Bryant does not have enough compassion. He means well. They gave me credit for that. He says, my intentions were good. I think he said that. But John Bryant does not, in his book, have enough compassion for the poor and those who are struggling, not enough of a role for government, not enough of a role for nonprofits, and so on and so forth. I have a couple of things to say to that gentleman, because I'm going to get this a lot. I'm going to get this, well, you're opening a door for racists to say that we need to do for ourselves. Hey, Marvin Bell. No, I wasn't a hater. It's just, I mean, we've been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed to think in a box and don't think about anything else. This is the way it is. If you're black or you're brown or whatever, this is the way your life is. This is the box you're in. But let me ask you something about that box. So the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. So if we have been on the same trajectory, the same business plan, we've been saying the same things, some of our leaders have been giving us the same tired rhetoric. Hey, Tina, it's the first time listening, I think you said. I hope you enjoy it. Join us, Tina Hayes. Tell your friends. Hey, Terry Hanks. if we've been listening to the same tired rhetoric, again, these people mean well. No one's trying, I think, to take advantage of you. Hey, Nakia. But we've been listening to the same tired rhetoric, and it has not improved the state of your life. Shouldn't we try something else? I'm just asking. If a well-intentioned policy at scale has not changed the trajectory of your life in not 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or even 10 years, I'm talking about 50 years plus. Shouldn't we try something else? Okay, let me put that aside for a moment. The person said that John Bryant is not providing enough compassion for people who, you're giving a door to these ultra conservatives who say that you got to, bootstrap yourself. Well, by the way, you do need to bootstrap yourself, but that's not what I'm talking about. Is my friend Chelsea Clinton told me, and she was right. If you see a turtle up on a fence post, the turtle didn't get there by themselves. I'm going to repeat, just so you know I have compassion. Leslie Gow says, buy the book, exactly. If you see a turtle up on a fence post, the turtle didn't get there by themselves. So what they're saying is everybody needs some help, right? Well, I agree with that. Everybody needs some help, and I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to give you all of the tools you need. Your crew members love you. Thank you, Zena. Please give them my love back to them. I appreciate that. I'm trying to give you all the tools you need to actually do for yourself. I'm not giving you some soft soap. I'm not giving you some wish, hope, and a prayer. I am telling you no one's coming here to save you. Get that through your head. In this book, this is call it tough love if you want. I don't think it's tough love. I think it's brute force love. Blunt force love is what I'm giving you tonight. That's the name of this presentation tonight. Blunt force love. Not blunt force trauma. I'm not trying to traumatize you. I'm giving you blunt force love. Leslie says hallelujah. I'm going to repeat it. Blunt force love. I'm going to talk to you straight. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because that's not going to help you. I'm not going to lie to you because that will lead you down a false path. I'm not going to go easy on you because I know that you can do it. I know that if I come at you straight, that you will realize that you have everything inside of you to achieve what I'm talking about. If I lay it out for you and give you experiences, hey, Gerald says, I got the book, thank you. If I lay it out and give you a set of experiences and a set of examples that I think, Joey says all is, I think that I can prove to you that actually you can gap these differences between yourself and your aspiration, yourself and your freedom, yourself and your justice, yourself. No, but let me say this, and I'm going to cut to the end on this. If you have not noticed what's going on in Washington, D.C., and before this current set of political views, city and state and federal governments here and around the world were going broke before this. So they have less and less resources to help you, to subsidize you, and there's less compassion for doing all of this stuff that people rise to the level of expectation. Zena nods, exactly. Doing all this stuff that you may believe society need to do for poor and struggling people, even when there's the compassion for that, you need the budget for that. And increasingly, for the last 30 years, the budgets for all that has been getting smaller. Not bigger, smaller. Andre Little says, I'm all in, JHB. Great. Now, I think in that environment, it is more compassionate to you, more loving to you, to come at you straight. To tell you that no one's coming to save you, and you're going to have to become your own Justice Department. Now, before I flip and really drop the mic here and talk to you about blunt force love and what I mean by that in the first law in this book, I'm going to break it down. I need to know that you're with me. Leslie Gow says yes. I don't want to go too far here. We need it straight, LaShawn says. I want to make sure you don't think I'm being without compassion or that I'm being unsympathetic. I grew up in the hood. My best friend was killed when I was 10. He was 18. My uncle died right in front of me. Was run over by a drunk driver. I think I was 4 or 5 years old. I grew up in South Central. Hey, Antoine Clark. I'm not without compassion I was homeless 6 months of my life. I am not without, I know that bad things happen to good people. So I need you to understand that I understand. I do that. So that we can then move to the next conversation without you putting me in some kind of a box. Because once you put me into a box, you can then write me off and say, well, he doesn't understand me, so I'm not going to listen to a word he says. The minute you put me in a box, Republican box or a Democratic box, a liberal box or a conservative box, whatever kind of box you want to put me in, because to rationalize is to tell rational lies, Pamela says, come on with it, then you can write me off as not being relevant to your life. I don't understand you, so now you're not going to listen to anything I have to say. This is the state of mental illness. You see, because when you are comfortable in your own skin, when you're reasonably comfortable in your own skin, you can listen to everything. Here's my philosophy on life, and I'm cutting to blunt force love. I see you're saying you do understand that I understand. You're giving me the benefit of the doubt. You understanding this is not some conservative doctrine, some book that's designed to give ultra-conservatives and racists a free pass to back off of supporting poor. I say in the book, if you're disabled, if you're infirm, if you're elderly, if you can't do for yourself, we need to do for you. I say that in the book. I say that there's a need for government. I say there's a role for government. I am not letting anybody off the hook. Okay, so it appears though from the thumbs up and the comments that we have some general acceptance that I'm coming at this philosophy right down the middle and reasonable. Okay, fine. Leslie says she's buying the book right now. Thank you, Leslie. Okay, let's make this a bestseller. Let's make this book something you pass down to your children, to your uncles, that your nephews, your nieces, that you say, look, you may not agree with this dude all the way, but you've got to read this book. If you're going out in this world out here, you have got to read this book. Just go right to the rule that you think is more important, right? So Leslie Gall says I'm coming correct. Okay, let me now drop this mic. Blunt force love. We have had, since Jesus, a society. When did Jesus get upset? He got upset with the money changers, the capitalists, the bankers, who were trading currency and trading business, doing it inside the temple. He got upset. He was cool with everybody, but Jesus turned over the table of the money changers. So don't think I'm with all capitalism. Don't think that I think that anybody doing anything is cool. I do not. Slavery was the most abysmal, most repulsive, most disgusting, most morally repugnant form of capitalism that you can imagine. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's wrong, and there needs to be a debt paid to that and an apology for that. There needs to be a level playing field on that. That's a whole nother conversation. Let me stay focused at the moment. So Jesus had this conflict. He understood, but Jesus also talked about money in a positive way. And the Bible says in Proverbs that to be poor is not to not have anything. To be poor is not to not do anything. And lazy hands make a man poor. Now, maybe somebody didn't tell you that part of the Bible, right? They told you about compassion and all that kind of stuff, and let's take care of the poor. But maybe you missed that part where it said to be, don't trust me, go search for yourself. To be poor is not to not have anything, but to be poor is not to not do anything, and lazy hands make a man poor. That's what the Bible says. So don't blame this on me. Don't say this is John Bryant's dogma, that I'm taking some conservative stance. God wanted you, Jesus, his spokesman, wanted you to do for yourself. Now, let me drop this mic. For 2,000, almost 3,000 years, the world over has had its priorities confused. The priorities should be Hey, Mary from Alaska. Ben McGee says, preach. Please write this down. Feed them to fish. Hey, Zena. Please write what I'm about to say down. This is the key to everything and why I approach life this way and why I'm written the book in this way. Here it is. The world should be that we've put our economy inside of our society. We put our economy inside of our culture. That's the way the world should be. And in that environment, the civil rights leaders, the social justice leaders, the moral leaders, the prophets, the preachers, the ecumenical leaders, anybody fighting for justice, you have everything on your side because the culture is the most valued thing in society. The economy fits within that place, some role. This is the way the world should be, by the way. That's not the way the world is. If that was the case, Jesus wouldn't have turned over the table of the money changers in his own temple. Here's the way the world is. We have not put our culture, we've not put our economy inside of our culture. We put our culture and our society inside of our economy. Did you get that? Not just here in America, all over the world. And I lay this out in the book. It's all fact-based. I'm going to say it one more time. The reason I wrote this book this way, and the reason that I preach what I preach, and I say what I say, and the reason that I'm giving you blunt force love, and I'm going to go on the Roland Martin show in 2 days. I'm sure he's going to put an interesting collection of people to argue with me as he likes getting folks to argue. That's fine. I agree to stepping over mess not in it, and people have the right to their opinion. But I'm not backing off this time. I'm not backing down from anybody because I'm absolutely convinced of this. We are digging in the wrong holes. We are looking for love in all the wrong places. We are running down a path faster and faster, further from our destination and our destiny. I'm going to repeat this. We have taken our culture and our society and put it inside of our economy versus putting our economy inside of our culture. If the culture was the predominant thing and society was the most important thing, then you could do everything that you're talking about around justice and all that stuff. And we live this, this sort of perfect environment. But you have greed. You got self-interest. You got human beings who are faulty. It goes back to Adam and Eve. It goes back to the original sin. It goes back to men's selfishness, their human evil. This has nothing to do with racism. This is underneath racism and all that other stuff. I'm saying, and I say this in the first rule of this book, we live in a free enterprise system. Embrace it. I don't say accept it. I didn't say love it. I didn't say, so when President Clinton was president, I worked for him. When President Bush was president, I worked for him as an advisor. And so for one president, and they asked me for dinner, I might have said what time. The other president, when they asked me to go to dinner, I might have said what for. But one thing's for sure, I'm going to dinner. If the president of the United States asked me to dinner, maybe not currently, I still have lots of questions. But in the past, if the President of the United States asked me to go, Herbert just bought the memo on audio. Thank you. I read that, Herbert, myself. If the President of the United States asked me to go to dinner, I'm going to say what for or what time, depending on my relationship with the President, but I'm still going. Okay? Because it's not about me. It's about representing the interests of my people. Over mess not in it. Talk without being offensive. Listen without being defensive. And always leave even your adversary with their dignity. Because if you don't, they'll spend the rest of their life trying to make you miserable. Talk without being offensive. Listen without being defensive. And always leave even your adversary with their dignity, because you got to step over mess not in it. Because if you don't do that, it'll become personal, and now you got an eye for an eye and everybody's blind. Are you with me so far? I know I'm going to have to come back to this point that I made and say it again. One passage says power principles. Share this video far and wide. This needs to be 1 million. I have several videos that have 1 million viewers. It's taken months to get to 1 million views. There's one video that has 6 million views. I need this video to go to 1 million views in a fraction of that time. This needs to be shared and distributed widely, because this is hard to argue with. It's not my opinion, it's just the facts. Thank you, I love the analogies. Thank you very much, Zena. We're with you, Jeff. I'm gonna repeat this so I can break it down and you can write it down. The idealists want the society to do the right thing. I get that. I'm with you. I'm rooting for you. But when you have all of your intellectual capital, all of your PhDs, all of your nonprofits, mahalo, Leslie, that's from Hawaii, all of your social justice organizations, all of your human rights organizations, focused on fighting inequality. You've got nothing left for how actually the world actually works, which is not surviving, fighting inequality, but thriving, which is aspiration and prosperity. And the way you lift yourself up in the environment that I'm about to describe is getting yourself some resources so you can do for yourself and then do for those that you love, including your community. The best way to stop a bullet, my friend Van Jones says, is a job. Zena says she always takes notes. Thank you. The best way to stop a bullet in our community is a job. Not a speech, not preaching, not protesting, not getting angry, not rioting. In fact, rioting destroys jobs. So wait a minute. The folks that have the quick trip and the gas station and all that stuff who didn't do anything around police brutality or whatever, but we're so angry and so emotional about the officer that beat somebody up, and the officer's wrong in this example. The officer needs to be fired and go to prison in the phantom example I'm giving you. So I'm not defending the officer. Don't let somebody tell you, John Bryant's always defending. No. In this example, the officer is wrong and needs to be fired and needs to be put in prison. Did you hear me? No excuses. But our response to that cannot be rioting in the whole neighborhood, tearing everything up, tearing everything down, destroying the few businesses that are getting jobs to young people who had nothing to do with the injustice, and those businesses are not coming back. So now we just made a bad situation worse because we don't understand the game. We actually literally don't, is what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, but we think we know. Yes, economic development, Ronald says. The best way to stop a bullet is a job. Do you know that 700, I'm getting ahead of myself, I've got to say this, 700 credit score neighborhoods don't riot. Think about this. There's never been a 700 credit score community that has rioted of any race in America's history. Don't trust me, do your research, come back to me and tell me I'm wrong. I've done my research. We have a report, the Hope National FICO Credit Score Index, and I'll be going from city to city now. Somebody says, unbelievable that we didn't know this, is Aura Wright. I'm going to city, and I'm going to be able to tell you where all your crime is, your homicides, your lack of job growth, your dead entrepreneurship, your depression, where all of your joblessness is, the people who dropped out of high school. I'll be able to tell you where your gangs are based on a credit score. I'll also be able to tell you where your GDP comes from, where your tax base is, where your income comes from, where the small businesses are growing. I'll be able to tell you where the Starbucks are. I'll be able to tell you where all your prosperity is based on the credit score. There's never been a riot in a 700 credit score neighborhood in America's history. Black, white, red, brown, and yellow. Folks with a 700 credit score don't want to riot, they want to go shopping. They want to spend time with their family. Riots only happen in a sub 500 credit score neighborhood. Did you hear me? Am I now picking on black people? No, I'm not. Because white rural areas that are poor also have 500 credit scores. Those are the folks who got angry and voted last November because they felt they had no representation and their economies have been dying in their small towns for 60 years. It felt like nobody was speaking for them. So now they believe they have a spokesman. Are you hearing me? So whether you're black and urban or white and rural, in fact, more white poor white high school educated men are dying in America today than anybody else. Did you hear that? The people dying the fastest in America. What's the name of the book? The book's called The Memo. Somebody just asked. Lorenzo. The people who are dying the fastest in America. Sean has got a 700 credit score, Sean Prince. Is that right? Proud of you. The folks dying the fastest in America are high school educated and sub-high school educated white men. Yeah, Ben McGee just told you it's The Memo. Somebody says criminals wear suits, don't believe something. I got to figure out what that comment is. Of course criminals, everybody wears suits. I'm not quite sure what the point is there. I didn't say anything about a suit. Okay. So, in a 500 credit score neighborhood, here's what you see. A check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a renter-owned store, next to a title lender. I'm not going to answer that because I'm talking to you. You have a check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a renter-owned store, next to a title lender. All right? So that's urban and rural. That's white and black. All right, now, so let me come back to my premise for this book. So the premise for this book, the first chapter, is that we live in a free enterprise society system. Embrace it. I didn't say endorse it. I didn't say you had to like it. Right? I didn't say you had to love it. I said embrace it. When you're being run out of town, get in front of the crowd and make like a parade. And Shimon Peres said it better than I could. He said, even if you want to distribute money like a socialist, you've got to first collect money like a capitalist. So for all those people out there saying, we just need to be a socialist society and give everything away, where do you think the socialist money comes from? I mean, you just can't print it, okay? So you say, well, let's look at Norway. Yeah, Norway has oil, okay? That's why they can give everything away and there's no poor people in Norway. There's only like 4 million people in Norway. We have 350 million people in America. Socialism doesn't work in a big country like this. You can't just give everything. Well, what about Saudi Arabia? They got subsidies for everybody. Saudi's going broke. They're running out of oil. They cannot keep subsidizing people. They're having a problem there. What about Sweden? All these Nordic countries, Sweden has timber. All these countries made money before they gave it away. They're still making money, and they're simply deciding how to distribute it. Whether they distribute it to individuals through capitalism and ownership. And by the way, that's what's happening in all these countries. The state does not own these assets. Individuals own these assets. The only difference is in places in Europe, they tax you more. Listen to me now. They tax you more. People call it socialism. They tax you more, half of your income or more. And then the state decides how to redistribute that money to poor people. Now, let me ask you this question. If that's what's happening in Europe, why are there riots in Europe? If this is such a great program in Europe, then why is Paris rioting? Why are there problems throughout Europe if this is such a perfect program? Because people want to do for themselves. Because the government is the last and most horrible example of teaching somebody how to fish. They're not fishing themselves. They get government revenue they get tax revenue from you and me, from tax on our houses, on our consumer sales. When you go to a gas station, you're paying a tax. Everywhere you go, you're paying a tax. That's passive, lazy money, income that goes to the government. And as a result of that, they're able to sit there and collect this income. And they cannot tell you how to become an entrepreneur. They're doing training in entrepreneurship, but they're not an entrepreneur. They're doing training in small business, but they're not small business owners. So you cannot give what you don't have. So they're basically just giving everybody some food and roof over their head, is giving them a check, putting them to sleep. But that's not what's driving the world. The economy is driving the world is the United States economy. Did you know that? The largest economy in the world is the U.S. economy. So somebody's going to say, yeah, but the biggest budget in America is the government budget. So John, you're wrong. That's not true. The federal government in the United States is $21 trillion of debt, give or take, every year. You know a budget that's 3 times larger than that? Wall Street. Boom, drop the mic. $70 trillion a year in Manhattan. That's free enterprise. So we live in a free enterprise system. Embrace it. Stop arguing with it. Stop saying you hate rich people. No, you don't. You hate rich people till you become rich. The good news. Sam Walton created Walmart, not some rich person. Sam Walton had a high school education, ladies and gentlemen. Zena, why you like that? He had he was a rural white dude with a high school education, with chutzpah and an idea of a little retail business that he thought with the right formula, he could grow. He had a pickup truck and a storefront. That's how he started. Walmart now is the largest retailer in the world. But it started with a guy with a high school education. That wouldn't have worked in France. He couldn't have done that in Italy. He couldn't have done that in Saudi Arabia. He couldn't have done that in China. He could not have done that in Germany. He could not have done that in Russia without the government controlling what he does and the government basically owning it, and you try to stand up against the government, you disappear. Only in America could there be a Sam Walton or a John H. Johnson who created Ebony and Jet magazine with a $500 loan from his mother. Or a Reginald Lewis, who was the first black man to create $1 billion empire with McCall Pattern Company. Or my friend Susan Taylor and her co-founders of Essence Magazine, who they then sold to Time Warner, I believe it was. And yeah, there's no problem with folks building wealth and selling assets. That is the way of the world. You got to monetize, you got to liquefy your monetized value. It's a whole other conversation for another time. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's everything right with it, and that's the way the system works. But we didn't get the memo. So how do we solve our problems in our lives if from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, you're entering an economic transaction? You get up in the morning, wherever you are right now, you're sitting on your couch. You paid for the couch. You pay for the house that you're sitting in. Can I get an amen? You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. You pay for the toothbrush. It's not a government issue toothbrush. Right? You're using toothpaste. You pay for the toothpaste. You turn on the water to brush your teeth. You pay the water bill, or somebody's paying the water bill. Can I get an amen? You turn on the light switch. Somebody's paying the light bill. You're on a phone right now. Somebody is paying the phone bill. You had to pay for the telephone. The government didn't give you a telephone. You went and got your nails done, lady. You didn't get your nails done for free. You paid the nail tech to do your nails. The nail tech is a capitalist. Brothers, you went and got your hair cut. I went and got my hair cut. You paid for the haircut. So they didn't give you the haircut free. You paid for it. That's your barber is a capitalist. You're going to stop at the gas station and get you some gas. The gas station's not giving you gas for free. So what is your point, Victoria says? If you don't get my point, you just need to sign off. I don't know what to tell you. People will listen to the craziest things on the Kardashians, Lil Wayne. They listen to all these crazy videos that have no point whatsoever, who's calling women bees and all kind of stuff, and won't say a thing and just sitting there clapping. I'm breaking some stuff down. You won't give me, I've been on here for 30 minutes. You won't give me 35 minutes to make a point that I'm giving you for free, and they say, what's your point? If you don't know what the point is, God bless you. Just sign off. I can't help you. I've broken it down as clear as I can. The first thing we must accept is drug dealing is free enterprise. Prostitution is free enterprise. Wall Street is free enterprise. Your job is free enterprise. You're not working for free. You are human capital. Zena's not at work for free. Smart is the new sexy, Mary says. Zena's not at work for free. If you're working on now, you're not working for free. They are paying you a paycheck for your human capital. You are exchanging your time and your work for a check. Thus, you are a capitalist. Capital comes from the Latin root word capitas, which means knowledge in the head. Do you have some knowledge in your head? And are you selling that knowledge in exchange for some compensation? Then the question becomes, do you want to just cash a check, meaning working for somebody else, or do you want to or do you want to write checks, an entrepreneur like me, or cash checks as an employee? Either one works. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying you got to pick a lane. But wherever you are in the world, I guarantee you're involved in capitalism. You get in your car, you're paying a car note. You go to work, you only show up at 8 o'clock because if you don't, they'll fire you and you won't get your paycheck. I mean, what, you name a situation. Nobody's even keeping your kids other than your grandchildren, unless you paying them. Maybe, I'm sorry, your grandmother will do it for free, or somebody who loves you. But other than that, if your life's not about God or love, it's about economics. And nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points, which is why I keep talking about credit scores. And I'm going to get into how powerful these credit scores are. I will be able to tell you with precision whether the area you're living in is prosperous or dying. So I think I'm going to drop the mic and stop. I just wanted to tell you that this is blunt force love. And if you don't want to have a hard conversation, you probably need to sign off. If you don't want to just talk straight and get to what's really going on, even slavery was about money. Okay, I got in trouble for saying that before, but that's the truth. Nobody brought you 9,000 miles away and put up with all that stuff and created this because they just hated you. Don't give yourself a compliment like that. No, slavery, we got on the wrong boat, and they put us on the boat because they wanted to build a country for free and an economy for free, and they wanted to have these mansions and all these workers and all this lifestyle on our backs because we were free labor and chattel property. They were even insurance policies that insured us as property. We were bad. We were immorally used as bad capitalism. So wherever your church can't even operate without tithes and offering. So you don't think something's capitalism. You don't think that something's free enterprise. You don't think you live in a free enterprise. You can't even go protest without a group of you guys and ladies staying in somebody's house. Somebody's paying the car note. I'm paying rent or a mortgage on the house you're staying in. You cannot even protest without buying some signs from a printer who has employees, who's paying taxes, and is making a profit. You give me an example anywhere in life, even that I'm doing a show on this, on the Delivering the Memo show that I'm doing for Facebook, the episodic series. Follow that page too. It's every 2 weeks on an inanimate object called a parking meter. That even a parking meter has figured out capitalism. Can you make money when you're sleeping? That's what a parking meter does. It ain't arguing with you, but you're not putting your car in front of it unless you pay. So you say you don't engage in capitalism? That is a lie. You're being used by it because you don't know how to use it. So I'm convinced, to drop the mic here, that the reason that black folks, I'm talking to everybody now, white folks are stressed out right now. Middle class folks stressed out right now. Everybody got too much money at the end of their money. That's why we did the election we just did, creating jobs, economic fear. People that before every social crisis, you had an economic crisis. Before World War II hit and they started hating on Jews supposedly. Before that, they got along with their Jewish brothers, but that was when everything was okay. But when the economy went to hell in Germany after World War I, they started looking for somebody to blame for their failure, and then they looked at their Jewish brothers and said, you must be our problem. So today we're looking at Mexicans and black people and whoever else saying, you must be our problem because the economy is failing once again, and people are looking for somebody to blame. The reality is that we just lost our storyline, all of us. Now, if you're black, so the way this deal works is if you're black, you're born on probation in America. You gotta be twice as smart, twice as intelligent, twice as well dressed, twice as prepared. Get up twice as early, stay up twice as late, and work twice as hard, and don't be angry about it. Because that's not gonna help you. Because nobody's coming to save you and nobody cares about your drama. We just need to get the memo and build our wealth and distribute it as we like. And it is really hard for somebody to discriminate against you when you have created. I'm not saying that to hate on you, they can still hate on you, but then it really matters less. You want to hate on me? It's okay. The best way to get even is to live well. I'm not going to hit you with a brick. I'm going to hit you with my American Express black card and knock you out. I'm just going to look at you like you're crazy. Because I can buy and sell whoever wants to come at me crazy 3 times Sunday. So what's your lane? Because getting angry doesn't solve a thing. So we got to figure out what we're for, not what we are against. And then we have to have a plan to move forward. This has worked for my Asian brothers. This has worked for my Latin American brothers. This has worked for my Middle Eastern brothers. This has worked for my European brothers. Leslie says, are you single? That's funny. But my brilliant African American friends, it has not worked for most of us because we have either don't understand the memo or have rejected it. And when Abraham Lincoln created a freedmen's bank to try to teach free slaves about money, he was murdered the next month. Frederick Douglass tried to run the bank and he couldn't save it because it had been gained by all the people who didn't want the bank to succeed. And basically you have 35 million black people today who never got a class in capitalism. We're not dumb and we're not stupid. It's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, but we think we know. Mary says this is the plan to move forward. Exactly. So look, what am I saying? This works for Trinidadian folks too. Exactly, Zena. Exactly true. All the folks from the islands. Exactly. The black folks from the islands don't have any problem in America. My Ethiopian friends, my black folks, friends from Africa who come here, they come here working. They're the doorman at the Park Hyatt Hotel, and 3 years later, they own three Uber cars and own their own business because they got the memo and they didn't come here with a brainwashed mentality. We're depressed, we're distressed, we never got the memo on free enterprise and capitalism, and now we're convinced, unfortunately, that capitalism is evil, which means that the man who's trying to jam you up got you right where he wants you. So then you got a check casher next to the payday lender, next to the rent-to-own store, next to the liquor store, and all trying to separate you from your wallet, and now we're arguing with each other. Poor people ain't arguing with poor people because a house divided cannot stand, and now you just do not have a chance to win. You better get the memo. And the first rule, I'm only dealing with one rule tonight, is we live in a free enterprise system. The society has already voted. Do I want things to be better? Yes, but I deal with the way the world TI is also. So I pray, I hope for the best, I expect the worst, and I condition the world for whatever, and I condition my mind for whatever happens. Write that down. Hope for the best, expect the worst, and condition your mind for whatever happens. Hope for the best, expect the worst, and condition your mind for whatever happens. You got to embrace the world the way it is, and then figure out how to master this world and make it work for you. So I'm saying that if the society was a culture and the economy was inside of that society, then all this social justice stuff that everybody keeps talking about as what should be the way, and there should be no racism, and I'm tired of all that stuff would work. But I can't get in somebody's heart and make them not a racist. I can't do it, and neither can you. And I cannot make a priority for somebody else they decide is not their priority. And here is, again, the reality. Our society, the world over, 220 countries, unfortunately, have decided that they want to have an economy and have their culture and society inside of it. I believe that's why we have global warming. That's why we're tearing up the environment, because we've made money first. We've made money our God. It's evil. It's wrong. It's not sustainable. We need balance. In the meantime, you've got to understand how the system works while you're fighting for justice and fighting for balance and fighting to get our values right. Won't you also fight for your own prosperity so you've got some resources to fight with? So then you're not fighting anymore. You're changing. I hope you like this. I love you. I wrote this book for you. This is the audio book. This is on CDs. I read this myself. 3.5 hours. This is my voice. And this is a physical book. It's the memo. It came out on Monday. I was on CNBC Monday morning on Squawk Box. I'm doing Roland Martin this week. I believe Steve Harvey's doing some stuff on it. It's getting around. But I'm talking to you straight. I'm talking to you direct. You see, there's no script. I'm not reading off anything. I'm coming at you direct. And I'm saying this stuff works. I love you too, Zena. I love you all. Unbought, unbossed, unbiased, coming to you straight in No Chasers from Atlanta, Georgia. Remember what Malcolm X said. Dr. King said, be a dreamer, yes. Dr. Dorothy Height says, be a dreamer with a shovel in your hand, yes. And Malcolm X said, you've been bamboozled, you've been tricked, you've been fooled. All that's true. And now we got to take our lives back. That's true too. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Ambassador Andrew Young. Yes, it's on Audible, Donald Ivy. It is on Audible, and it's on iTunes in audio version. And by the way, Costco has a bunch of stores that have them. It's on my Facebook page. Go clean them out, because they'll order a bunch more for all their stores. So they're starting, I think, with 20 stores at Costco. We got to clean them out in the next week. But Ambassador Young has a great quote. I'm going to Africa with him on Friday, so I'll be doing a book signing in South Africa. So all of you, that's right, Renzo, hoodwinked. We've been hoodwinked, we've been tricked, we've been fooled. That's Malcolm X. So I'm coming to South Africa next week, and I'll be doing a book signing at the Essence Festival event in South Africa, in Durban, and I'll also be in Johannesburg. So I'll be posting something about my schedule when I'm in South Africa. We have a big South African followership here. Here's Andrew Young quote. To live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. He said, we've integrated the lunch counter in the civil rights movement, he and Dr. King and others, but they didn't integrate the dollar. It's time to integrate the dollar. I'm out. Love you.